Good morning, everybody. Matt Modi here to give you my favorite NBA player prop picks today. We're talking Friday, January 24th. The splash zone is back in your life. I'm only going to have 3 NBA player prop picks today because it's only 3 games, so a smaller NBA betting slate. Of course, before we can get into those picks, we got to do a recap from yesterday, which was a really good day overall. Kind of a frustrating day as well. Now, if we're just looking at the day, we are up just under 3 units, like literally 2.99 units of profit on the day, which is really, really good. The reason why it was frustrating, one of the losses that we had, Scotty Barnes, I had his assists, and then I also sprinkled his triple-double. None of that cashed, so we lost a little bit because I decided to ladder him. And then once Chris Middleton got ruled out in the Bucks game, I added Giannis assists, which has been just like my kryptonite this entire season. His assists go up a lot when Chris Middleton is out, so I felt comfortable riding it last night. I took Giannis assists. I took him for a triple-double. That didn't cash either. So if I just left out Giannis and I left out the ladder play for Scotty Barnes, we could have been rich last night. Unfortunately, I didn't do those things, but we'll gladly take 3 units of profit in a night betting on the NBA. That continues what's been an awesome week. Continues what's been an awesome month. We're up over 18 units just in the month of January alone. On the entire season, because we started slow in October, November, and December, we're up about 24 units on the year, something like that, which where we started, I'm very happy with 24 units of profit. I'm very happy with 18 units of profit in the month of January. Hopefully we can keep going. Again, I only have 3 picks for today because it's a lighter betting slate, but those of you watching my channel would appreciate it if you could like the video if you're new, if you could subscribe if you are not already. I'm going to have plays for NFL come out sometime either today or tomorrow as well. And then if you could comment on the video as well, let me know what you think of the plays that I have. Let me know plays that you like that I didn't add. Put all that stuff in the comments. I don't have a question for you guys today. Let's just get right into it. So the first game on tap is the Cavaliers versus the 76ers. And I actually have 2 picks in this game. Now I'm sharing my screen to show you Props Madness. Amazing tool. I use it for all of my NBA betting analysis. If you're interested in checking them out, you can get a free trial. I put a link to them in the description of the video as well as the pinned comment. If you do end up signing up, it would help me out a ton if you want to support the channel if you use the promo code MODI, all caps MODI. If you don't want to do that, no problem. So the 2 plays that I have in this game, one of them is Gershon Yabusele, and I'm taking him over 6.5 rebounds. Now, as of right now, couple things here. Number 1, all these odds look gross. I bet this at minus 115 odds at FanDuel. Props Madness is amazing. As of right now, they can't pull odds from FanDuel, which is why you don't see them on the screen here. But a couple other books are giving you close. Like if you can use Bet Rivers, I would take it at minus 118. If you can only use Caesars, that's probably the worst I would take is the minus 125 at Caesars. That's as high. I wouldn't go any higher than that. Like I wouldn't touch minus 130 or anything below that. But you can get minus 115 odds at Caesars. So Gershon Yabusele rebounds. People are saying he's hit it 9 of 20, or if we go to the whole season, he's done it in 14 of 40 games. Why the heck do we like it? Well, a couple things here. Number 1, I mean, we never know who the hell's playing on this Sixers team. We know that Gershon is playing, and we know that 2 important guys are out, Joel Embiid and Andre Drummond. Those 2 are not playing. Gershon has played 9 games without Joel Embiid and Andre Drummond in the lineup. He has recorded 7 or more rebounds in 7 of 9 games. That's just below an 80% hit rate. And he's averaging he's averaging 7.6 rebounds per game. That's 2 full rebounds above his average. He averages 5 on the year. These 2 guys are out. That goes up to 7.5. So right off the bat, okay, injury news looks good for Gershon Yabusele. Now let's talk about the matchup going up against the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavs are a good matchup for Gershon in his position, which is technically listed as power forward. As you can see, 7 of 8 power forwards have hit their rebound prop over against the Cavaliers. Like Julius Randle, 14. Over-under was 7.5. Lauri Markkanen had 7. Giannis, who's a completely different rebounder, hit his over twice. But we see Gershon did it in this exact matchup against the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's played them 1 time without, without Embiid and Drummond. He had 9 rebounds in that game. More importantly, he had 17 rebound chances in that game as well. Now, a bunch of guys missed that game. No Maxey, no Paul George as well. But Caleb Martin is also out for this game, and he's a decent rebounder as well. If we look at games without Caleb Martin. It's only 3 of them, and it's 1 of 3, so that doesn't look as good. But Martin is someone that will grab rebounds. And the most important thing here that matters to Gershon is no Embiid and no Drummond. Now, Gershon will probably be the starting center for the Sixers. So this stat isn't exactly perfect because his role changes depending on who's in and out of the lineup. What I do know is that centers have a good rebound matchup against the Cavs. I'm looking at literally NBA.com. I'm looking at the center position, the opponent. The Cavaliers allow the 3rd most rebounds to centers in the entire NBA. And they've been a good matchup for center rebound props all year. I've targeted them a couple times. I've actually had bad luck targeting them, but on the whole, they're a good matchup. So really what we're looking at here is Gershon in a good matchup. He's probably going to get matched up against Jarrett Allen, who, yeah, Jarrett Allen can probably abuse him when they give him the ball in the post or on the pick and roll. But when a shot gets missed, Gershon, that means he's going to be close to the basket. So I love taking him to get 7 rebounds in this one. 7 does seem to be somewhat of a key number because as you can see, 3 separate times he's landed on exactly 7 rebounds when these 2 guys are out of the lineup, which is why I decided to take the minus money at minus 115 odds on 7 as opposed to bumping it up. But that's our first play. Next up, I mentioned I have one in this same game. It's Jarrett Allen, and I'm taking him 15 plus points. Now, the best offered price that I bet was minus 110 at ESPN Bet, and that is still available. So luckily, the odds haven't changed a ton by the time, at least I'm recording this. Hopefully, by the time you're locking it in, they also haven't changed a ton. But minus 110 odds on Jarrett Allen to score 15 or more points. Now, this is another one where the hit rate people are going to say this is gross. Like, if we look at the entire season, he scored 15 or more points in 19 of 43 games, less than a 50% hit rate. Couple things here. Number one, there is no Evan Mobley. Now, his scoring isn't amazing without Evan Mobley. I mean, it's only been 5 games, so we don't have a ton of data. He's hit it in 60% of those games, so 3 of 5, averaging about 17.5 points per game. And the 2 games that he didn't hit, 14 points in a tough matchup against the Timberwolves, 12 points in an average matchup against the Suns, but they won that game by 26 and he only played 22 minutes. Now, they could blow out the Sixers. That could definitely happen for sure. Last year, if you look at games without Evan Mobley, he scored 15 points in about 60% of the games, 19 of 23. So that looks a little bit better when we go back to last year. So no Evan Mobley does help Jarrett Allen. Another reason why I like this one is look at the play types here. So one thing you can do on Props Madness is you can look at like how a player scores and how defenses guard those play types. Now, we're going to get to this. This does not look good, right? If we're looking at the similar players and stuff. But if we just look at the play types and stuff, now we don't have defensive data off of cuts, so we can't really do anything there. But he scores this in terms of his play types, the second most as the pick and roll roll man. The Sixers are the 3rd worst defense guarding the pick and roll roll man in the NBA. He gets to the line somewhat. They foul at a below average rate. They're not terrible. They're bottom half. They're not bottom 10. But he runs in transition. They're the 8th worst transition defense. And their transition defense was an abomination in the Sixers' last game. It was terrible. But another reason why I like it is about 75% of Jarrett Allen's baskets come in the restricted area. The Sixers allow the 4th most points per game in the restricted area. And if you just hover over the matchup, what we see here is a lot of green. Defensive rank versus play type. So how does their defense guard this player's play type that he scores in terms of number 1 of his play type? This is the pick and roll roll man, 3rd most. That's what that number is telling you. Next up, defensive rank versus DSZ. How do they guard the shot zone? 4th worst. That's what you see right here. The one below that, defensive rating. That's just net defensive rating, 9th worst in the NBA. The points in the paint allowed is important as well. They're the 9th worst defense guarding points in the paint. In 73 plus 23, 96% of Jarrett Allen's points come in the paint. Now, he's only played, again, 5 games without Evan Mobley. But what I want to show you is that in 2 of the games where he played a bottom 10 defense guarding his play type, which is the pick and roll roll man, he has gone over 15 points in all 3. Literally 3 for 3 in a good matchup without Evan Mobley. So that's why I like this play a lot, because it's a good matchup, because there's no Evan Mobley. I just think that he's going to be able to abuse. I mean, I know I'm taking Gershon rebounds, but I think Jarrett Allen's going to be able to abuse him just because he's so much bigger than him. And if they put in a Dembona, he's going to get in foul trouble. He's the Sixers' backup center. So I really like the look for Jarrett Allen to record 15 or more points in this one. I did look at his rebounds. I just thought that the number was a little bit too high. I mean, it's 11.5. You are getting plus money, so you are getting pretty good odds. But if you look at, like, he's kind of like a 10 to 11 rebound guy. He did get 13 last game, but we see 11, 4, which is gross, 11, and 10. So he's more of like a 10, 11 rebound guy than a 12 or more, which is why I ended up not going with that. And that is our second play. So as of right now, I don't have a play in this Blazers versus Hornets game. The reason why, the Blazers haven't submitted an injury report. They played last night, so we don't know who's playing. And the Hornets, both LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges are questionable. So to me, you really can't bet this at this current moment in time because we don't know who the hell is going to play. But I do have a play in this Pelicans Grizzlies game, and I'm taking Ja Morant. I'm actually taking him on the points plus assists. So I'm combining the points plus assists. I got this at over 30. So I got over 30.5 at minus 105. Looks like that's no longer available, but you can get, oh no, it is right here, BetMGM. This is the exact bet that I took. Over 30.5, minus 105 odds at BetMGM. So Ja, points plus assists. Really, really, really good matchup for both. So I combined them. Originally, I was like, do I like his points better? Do I like his assists better? And then I said, why not just combine them? So let's talk about the points. Let's talk about the matchup. Number one, I mean, right off the bat, by position, 11 of 15 players have hit their, similar to Ja Morant, have gone over against the Pelicans. So right off the bat, that looks like a good matchup. Now, this doesn't tell you everything. Like, I ignored it when it came to Jarrett Allen and his points against the Sixers. But sometimes it is helpful. But the most important thing here is, again, let's just hover over the matchup. What we see here is a lot of green. Defensive rank versus play type, 6th worst. That means that he scores 30% of his points in transition. Pelicans are the 6th worst defense guarding transition. Next up, defensive rank versus DSZ. How do the Pelicans guard the shot zone for Ja Morant? That's 2nd worst in the entire NBA. That is in the restricted area. So 43% of Ja's points come in the restricted area. They're the 2nd worst defense. Defensive rating, 3rd worst. That's just net defensive rating. And then points in the paint allowed, 2nd worst. They allow the 2nd most points in the paint in general. And as you can see, Ja Morant, 66% of his points come in the paint. And if we look, and this is combining both, so the points and assists. So then we go to the assists, right? The Pelicans, they allow the 6th most assists per game in the entire NBA. And they are a team you want to target for point guard assist props. I mean, as you can see, only 8 of their last 15, but they've been really bad recently. It's 4 of the last 5. Now these are all in the Jazz game. So basically every guard against the Pelicans went over their assist prop. Collier had 11 in back-to-back games. Sexton had 5, and then the next game, Keontae George had 7. But they're among the worst teams in the NBA at allowing point guard assists, which is why I wanted to combine it. And if we just kind of go through the process here. So defensive rank versus play type. Again, we know that the Pelicans are the 6th worst. So, okay, how does he perform in his points plus assists market going up against teams in the bottom 10? He's gone over in 6 of 11 games. All right, next up, what about the shot zone? Teams that are bad in the restricted area. We go to the bottom 10. That's bottom 10. That's same thing, 6 of 11 games. What about points in the paint, right? Let's look at how he performs against teams that are bad at guarding the paint. That would be 4 of 8. So this one is not quite as good, but in one game he went under. He had exactly 30, and he had 18 potential assists in that game. He just didn't shoot well, 6 of 13 from the field. But then we look at teams that are bottom 10 in terms of assists allowed. And I don't know why the number's being weird, but 6 of 12 games, if we go from like the bottom 5, 6 of 11 games. So right off the bat, we see it's kind of like a 55% hit rate and all these good matchups for Ja Morant. And then the most important thing here, and I saved this for last on purpose, how has he performed against the Pelicans? Hit this number in both. 27 points and 7 assists in the first game and only 29 minutes of playing time. And next up, he only played 25 minutes, scored 25 points, also had 7 assists. So it had 7 assists in both games, scored 27 and 25 points in both games as well. So this is a really, really good matchup for Ja Morant, which is why I combined the points plus assists. Minus 105 at BetMGM is our 3rd and final pick of the video. And that's all we got. Only 3 bets for you guys today because it's a really, really gross slate. Couple leans that I had while we're talking about it. Paul George had a good assist. He has a good assist numbers when all these guys missed, Drummond and Embiid. I mean, he's hit it in literally 5 of 5 games. The odds are terrible, so you're either paying minus 135, minus 130, minus 140, or you're paying him to go to 6. And the 5 to 6 number does seem to be somewhat of a key number. That's why I didn't end up betting that. And then in the Blazers-Hornets game, again, I just need to know who's going to play, so I can't even give you a lean. In this Pelicans-Grizzly games, I actually had a couple leans that I liked. Zach Edey has a good matchup both on the points and the rebounds. If you look at like the Pelicans, they're the worst defense guarding his play type, which is offensive rebounds, putbacks. That also helps his rebounds. We either the second worst defense guarding the restricted area, which we know based on John Morant. They can't guard the paint, which we know based on John Morant. And then if we go to rebounds, they allow the fourth most rebounds per game in the NBA. They're a really good matchup also for center rebound props. And as you can see, 12 of the last 15 centers have hit their rebound prop over against the Pelicans. So it's a good matchup both for his points and rebounds for Zach Edey. It's a little bit correlated to Ja and his points plus assists, and sometimes even anti-correlated if we're talking about the points, which is why I didn't bet it. And then on the Pelicans side, Trey Murphy's got a good matchup. The Grizzlies are a team that allows a ton of three-pointers, like the sixth worst defense guarding above the break three-pointers. And a lot of these come from above the break, which is where Trey Murphy's points come from. Above the break, catch and shoot three-pointers. So spot up, you see they're below average, but transition, they're bad. Free throws, they're bad. Average, and then bad in the next two. In both games against the Grizzlies, Trey Murphy, 21 and 35 points. So the one game he had 21. His over-under was 18.5. So the books hadn't quite caught up yet about how good Trey Murphy has been. They upped his point total to 22.5, but he scored 35 points in the other one. And he's been pretty good recently, like in his last 10 games. 6 of 10, averaging 25 points per game. And look at all the guys who are out. No Brandon Ingram, no Zion Williamson, and then DeJounte Murray's questionable. So I didn't end up betting it because I didn't want two bets in this gross game, even though I did do that in one game, so I didn't want to do it in both. But that's all we got. 3 official bangers for you guys to lock in. Again, like, comment, subscribe. We're going John Morant over 30.5 points plus assists. We're going Jared Allen, 15 plus points, and we're going Gershon Yabusele over 6.5 rebounds. Rounding out our 3 picks of the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out the links in the description of the video if you want to support the channel, which is a link to Props Madness. Also have a link to my Dub Club where I send all my bets out for $5 a month. So if you don't always want to watch the YouTube videos, or sometimes while you're watching these, the odds are different. That's why I have the Dub Club, to send everything out early. So both of those links are in the description of the video, but that's all we got. I appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I mentioned that a million times. Everybody bet responsibly and have a good one.